I am aggressively pro Miami this year for a whole host of reasons, but mostly because of how Mario Cristobal has built the roster. And you said it when he came over from Oregon. We've known it all along about this guy. He's a hell of a recruiter. And that has, again, been the case at Miami. We're starting to see the benefits of that. He's done a really good job, like along the lines of the Mike Norvell template that we discussed last episode. He's done a really good job of balancing the high school recruiting with the impact players that he can get via the portal. And this year might be the best example of that because he brings over Cam Ward, the quarterback from Wazoo, brings over Damian Martinez, the running back from Oregon State. We can talk more about both those guys, but it needs to be mentioned that this Cristobal project, like all of his other projects, is built very much from the inside out. And I think that might be the reason why Miami will be dangerous above all else this season, because they're going to have one of the ACC's best offensive lines, but then you combine it with the skill talent out wide, much of which is returning. Xavier Restrepo, Jacoby George, Sam Brown came over from Houston. I'm excited to see him. There really are no excuses for this offense at this point. And like, I get that this was a 7-6 team last year. We could probably spend a full hour talking about how that happened and make the Rutgers jokes if you want about the Pinstripe Bowl.
Sure.
We can talk about how TVD came off the tracks and threw, I think it was 10 picks in 4 games. Some ridiculous
number. I think the
like,
NC State game, was that 3 picks, 4 turnovers total? That was a real ugly one. Yeah.
I mean, it just really came off the swivel.
Hey, sorry for the quick interruption, but it'd be incredible if you considered subscribing to the Solid Verbal YouTube channel right down below.
I think the overarching theme, though, is that even despite the fact that that offense last year had its warts, it still did improve dramatically from Cristobal's first season. Like, despite all the jokes, there really was real progress that we can point to last year. And now they're plugging in Cam Ward into the Shannon Dawson offense, which I think is a good fit and a gigantic upgrade over where they were a year ago. You know where I stand on Cam Ward. I watched every play of his after he transferred out of Incarnate Word. I've been waiting for this moment when he can step into a big-time offense to see what he can do. The best move, though, might be the Damian Martinez one. He's the exact type of runner that Cristobal wants. He's physical. I think he's going to eat well on this offense. This is Mario's best offense since he's been in Miami. And it comes down to the question I posed in the last episode. It's, can he win in spite of himself? Can he win with all of these players? Will he know what to do with these guys, having them all together on the same offense? Because this is a loaded offense that should be a force no matter who they're playing this year.
Right. Okay. I'm not a huge Cam Ward guy. I think at his best, and he showed it against some good teams last couple of years. A lot of short stuff, a lot of erratic throws, a lot of like not throwing within the rhythm of offenses. I love Francis Mauigoa. I like this offensive line a lot. Right tackle might be an All-American. Love Damian Martinez, runs hard. I think the receivers are fine. Yeah. I like Restrepo a lot. And I think they've recruited there that somebody else is going to emerge. I think they're going to be led by their defense, but we saw those lapses last year where guys just running open or the horrific tackling. And that's what either loses you dumb games or you have to overcome to barely, by a gust of wind, beat Virginia. All due respect to the Who's.
My point of contention with that, though, is that I would not say they're led by defense. I think they're led by their lines. First and foremost, led by their lines.
I love Ruben Bain. There's star power on both lines.
Both sides. Because there's a big-time danger zone, if you want to hit the button. Thank you. Big-time danger zone in the Miami secondary. Because they're fully rebooting that defensive backfield. Had some luck in the portal. True. I think the floor is still pretty high for that unit, but I'm looking at some of these games against quarterbacks that can move, especially. USF can move. Virginia Tech, Kyron Drones can move. Maybe a healthy Tyler Shuck can move. Malik Murphy, Haynes King. One of those games is going to end up as an upset or a close win when you didn't expect it.
So your ACC champion has a shaky secondary.
It does.
In July.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does. The front seven's loaded, though. The defensive the defensive line lost some guys to the NFL. but the high school and portal recruiting were just, again, outstanding. And they're going to end up as one of the best 10 or so defensive lines in the country. They're really good up front. Again, leading from the lines on out. Also, the schedule. Like, I can't talk more about Miami without talking about the schedule, because it reminds me a lot of Notre Dame's in that there are a handful of name brand teams that are going to get people talking, that will give it credibility, but it's spaced out really well, and there aren't any crazy runs here. You know, they open the year in the Swamp against Florida, which is an enormous game for both teams. Miami's favored by about a field goal right now. We spent all offseason talking about Florida and how they're going to be down bad, but I'd be afraid of that game if I were a Miami fan. It's still an in-state rivalry. They've got a road game against USF, then a home game against Virginia Tech, back-to-back weeks.
Come on, Byron Brown gets the sound.
They go to Louisville, they come home to play Florida State, back-to-back weeks, but like not any crazy runs. So I'm really in on Miami. I've got Miami winning the conference over Clemson. If we want to throw one more in the volcano, let's go Miami over 9.
Oh, more takes. Why it burns.
I think that's all I have to say about the Canes.
I love this alignment with you and what you call him, Mario Cristobal. I love that you are attaching yourself at the hip.
Yeah, I am.
To Miami not losing dumb games.
I'm still fearful of it, and I think there will be dumb games. I don't know if it means they lose those games. I think they'll be high-powered enough on offense and good enough on the lines to minimize downside and at least establish a pretty high floor.
Okay.
So I'm in. In for a dime, in for a dollar, or whatever it is. Whatever the saying is. I'm in.
Have fun with all of that.
I'm in on Miami.